What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Tom Castro Shooting Academy Next Level Podcast. I am running solo with one gentleman here this time instead of 8 guys. I got Mr. Nestor Cruda, the three-time national champion, baby. Yes, sir. So Mr. Nestor Cruda just came back from a PCC national championship run for his third national championship in 2 years. So last year you won what?
PCC and Open.
PCC and Open, and then this year you won just PCC, right?
But,
so yeah,
but
what are we going for?
We're going for it. Tomorrow will be the Open.
Yeah,
Open
tomorrow
Nationals.
we start number 4 Open Nationals for him. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Carry Optics Nationals this year that we just got done with. And PCC Nationals obviously was in the same time, so I want to talk a little bit about that. This is a follow-up from last week that I posted about when we had everybody kind of had to go home, and it was just me and Nestor that stuck around for the big match here for for Open and Limited. So both of us are shooting Open. I borrowed a gun. Nestor actually has an Open gun that he shoots. So I kind of want to get into that this week and talk about it. So, man, what did you think of the stages? Like, we walked stages today, first day.
For the Open? Yeah, I thought it's gonna be the same, but we went there and like, oh man, it's completely different.
Completely different.
Different. Like, I was confident, like, this has been an advantage because I shoot PCC. It's gonna be the same stage. I'm gonna burn it. I know where to go. And first stage we walk in, like, holy shit, what are we gonna do? So different scenario, different. Like me and Tom, mostly him, but stage 1. We have to. That tells you that if you listen to both different outlook on how you run the stage, and you kind of have an idea. Like 2 brains essentially is better than one.
So what happened is what he's talking about is on stage 1. We had I made a plan, and then Nestor came over and said, "Hey man, what about if we went this direction and we shot that from over here?" Because originally I was going to go to all 4 corners of the stage. Yep. And shoot some stuff from distance and all that kind of stuff that I didn't need to, especially steel. I was able now to, by the way I stage planned it or changed my stage plan because of one thing that Nestor added to it. I was able to change that stage plan into saving a position and getting a lot closer to the steel.
Right, much better.
So the big thing was, and I talked about this before, and I don't know if I talked about this in podcasts, but I talk about it all the time on the Insider Circle, that you have to go in with an open mind. So that was was that the first time we walked him?
Yep.
So that was the first time we walked him, our first stage. And what I usually do is I go in, kind of get a rough plan, and then walk the other stages, and then come back and walk it all a second time. So this time, we basically had the same plans for every single stage. I don't think we changed much.
No.
At all on the second run. I mean, we pretty much knocked it out of the park on the first run.
There was one stage that we decided to go. You decided to go left instead
17.
of going right.
17.
Because the swinger is much more closer.
Yeah. Oh no, that was so that was stage 6, 7. I think it was 7 or 8. I think it's 7. 7 or 8. Yeah. It's in the middle section.
Yes.
We'll have to look that up and see which stage that is.
Faster if we go right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're shooting away.
You shoot longer,
but
it's
faster. Farther target with a partial swinger on stacking on top one. Another.
Yeah, so that actual stage, they actually had a double swinger that had they're basically headshots. So it's a double headshot with a damn, you got to love it. So, and where we talked about shooting it, I was going to get closer to it. Nestor likes the plan where he shoots it from farther away. This swinger, I saw them take this swinger and put it away. So like they knocked the steel over and then put a bag on it. So we got a chance to see it. It's not super fast because it's got 2 pieces of paper on it, but it's super hard. It's very small target. So what they did is they took a hardcover target, cut it in 3/4, basically took an open target, cut it in 3/4, did a hard cover on the bottom of it, left a headshot, and then stacked another swinger target or another target on top of it and cut that in 3/4 in half. Right. So you basically had maybe 2 inches of the A of the body. Small. So I mean, you're basically shooting Charlies or headshots because
Right.
you're not. No, chances are you're not going to get a lot of
You're
A's
not
on
gonna
that.
see any alpha on the lower alpha. It's just the neck.
Yeah, if
and
you're
the
going to
headshot.
see it, you're taking a chance at shooting at it, right? So you're that's one of those pick the middle and just pull the trigger kind of things, I think.
Yeah, well, the reason why I like to shoot it from afar is because you shoot early and you shoot quick, and then
Yeah.
it gives you the center target right away. But like you said, it's you shoot faster or quicker. I mean, right away,
Yeah.
but it takes a while to shoot because it's far.
Yeah.
It's like 20.
Yeah, it was
23
20 yards. Yeah, we walked it off. So if you would have walked up and got to where I wanted to shoot it from originally, before, because I changed my stage plan at the end, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stick to it unless I see something different. But when I went up to the right hand side, if I shot it from the 20 yards, I know I was going to shoot slower. I don't think I would get two off on one pass, and the goal there would be, it's probably going to take two passes for that swinger, but you got to get two shots off on the same target at least while you're on the first pass. So the second pass, so the second target you take that. You're not going to probably get four shots off in one pass. And if you do, you'll probably have no clue what's going to hit it, if it's going to hit it or not.
Very risky.
Yeah, it's very risky.
Yeah,
but
risky.
it's risky even if you're at 15, which is where I'm going to run up to. So again, you're saving 5 to 8 yards in distance, which, you know, at 15 yards, I'm much more confident in 15 yards at speed.
Yeah.
Not so much. I have confidence at 23, but it's going to be pop, 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 pop compared to bop, 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 bop. You know, you're going to have a difference in cadence there. So my plan is to go left on that stage because of the way it flows, not even because of the swinger, but just because of the way it flows. I decided to go left. That's one of the stages that I wish I would have changed my stage plan on at Nationals, Carry Optics Nationals. And this stage is completely different, but going left, I think, is still going to be better. It gives me time for a reload. I get to attack some targets on the move as I enter. As I get closer, there was a bobber on the left this time compared to just static paper.
Yes.
So the original plan was to run from right to left and shoot some stuff and then take headshots on the bobber, then the activator. When I go left, this allows me to come in on some paper, shoot a steal, shoot a hard right target, and then exit on the bobber as it comes up on the first shot. So as the first time it comes after the activation. So I feel like that stage plan, I walked away with a little bit more confidence than I did from Carry Optics Nationals because, I mean, I really liked my Carry Optics Nationals plan, but after watching other people shoot it, I was like, shit, I would have ran left if I would have redone that. So I don't feel like my stage hurt my shooting because I was right there. If I just I just missed a lot of steel at Carry Optics Nationals. So that's one thing I'm focusing a lot on in this match.
Well, there's one thing that we were we were squatted in different zones. And I did really well day one.
What zone did you shoot day one? C?
2.
Oh, two.
Yeah,
Zone 2. Okay. That was my worst zone.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Which is when we realized I pretty much bombed zone 3.
Yeah.
Day 2.
Yeah.
And your zone 2, which I did really well,
Yeah.
you bombed it on day 2.
Yeah.
Which when we thought about it, that was a morning.
Yeah.
When we did not, you didn't need warm up, we didn't work out. This
Well,
thing.
you know what made me think of that? I talked to JJ, the national champion, JJ Rakaza.
Well,
So I stopped and talked to him. He shoots at my local range all the time, so I try not to bother him when he's training. So I mean, I do my training, he does his training. But I talked to him after the match, and he was sitting down, and I went over and said hello to him and his dad, and said congratulations and all that stuff that what you should do because he's freaking amazing. So I went over and talked to him. He's such a great guy, and he's so open to coaching, right? Without
you can approach him.
You can approach him at any time. Yeah. So I've took one of his classes, and I learned so much about me as a shooter, and it really changed the way I attack stages and shoot. Right. So I talked to him. I said, hey, man, congratulations. And I said I had a good day on 1 and 3, but day 2 was terrible. And the first thing out of his mouth wasn't like, dude, you suck or anything like that. He goes, what did you do differently from day 1 to day 2? And what did you do differently from day 2 to day 3? Yeah. And I said, I woke up on day 1, hours before I was supposed to go. I had breakfast, which I always eat before I shoot. Had breakfast, but I eat hours before I shoot. An hour or 2 at least. I don't eat and then just go out and shoot. So then we sat down and we came and walked stages. I warmed up. I shot. I did a little running, actually. I now I think about it, on day 1, I definitely ran on purpose to go get something. I didn't need to, but I ran just to make sure that I got my legs warmed up and got my body woke up. And on day 2, I woke up. We sat around the house. I did some light stretching, which I do anyway. I stretched. And then we went and shot. I didn't even warm up. Honestly, I didn't even I didn't run. I didn't do shit. I just walked the stages for day 2. One of the things about day 2 for me personally was all the stages, or 99% of those stages, were all stand and shoot. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of running. So it was funny because the stages that I ran and shot, I did okay. Well, but the ones that I stood and shot, my brain and my body were not connected. And that's something that he brought up. He's like, man, your body wasn't awake. He goes, one thing I did this Nationals, I worked out every single day, morning, early, before I went and shot, like his normal schedule. And I was like, son of a bitch, I always warm up before I shoot. So that's something at this match that I 100% will be taken care of. I am not going to make that same mistake.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Then when you told me that, I'm like, wait a minute, I suck at day 2, which you did well at day 1, right? Yeah. So day 3. Yeah. So it's like, that's it. I think that's it, because I was beaten by pretty much people that I think I'll beat. Yeah. Like every stage I got beaten. Like, why? Yeah. So I get that's the huge difference. So.
Now the C zone for Nationals, the Carry Optics and PCC Nationals was by far the hardest. Yeah. So that's why I got that's what really pisses me off, is that I didn't take for granted Zone B, but I knew Zone B wasn't hard. Like, it was technical. Yeah. I don't feel like I shot over my ability. Like, I didn't try to shoot any faster. I was just trying to shoot like I had been on day 1. Yeah. So I went from 13th to like 86th from day 1 to day 2 was a crusher. I mean, but I didn't quit. I was like, F this. I'm gonna bust my ass. I'm gonna shoot like I do on day 3. Right. So day 3, I made sure I warmed up. I did a lot of walking around, did some stretching in the morning, warmed up with the gun because I had some time, because again, day 2 at this match at Alabama, you can't shoot. I think it's a state law. You can't shoot before 9 o'clock.
9 a.m.
So I don't even know how you hunt in this state before 9. I mean, this is when the deer come out, right? So it's like, I guess you could archery hunt before 9, and then after that you can pull out your gun, rifle, and tear them up. But that's insane. Like, that is crazy.
And the match officially starts at 9.
Yes.
So you can't warm up.
You can't warm up. Yeah. There's no warm up. Yeah. So I got onto the stage, shot it, and shot Zone B. Well, Zone C was the hardest zone.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, I was jacked up. Like, I was like, I'm going to crush this zone. Like, well, I shoot I have shot a lot of national level stages from Shannon before. Like, I've done to 3 nationals, but a lot of the local stuff that Shannon would build when he was at Frostproof was all like this. I mean, Florida Open was an ass whipper. Right. It was all IPSC targets. Everything was half swingers. I remember a couple times, like, I don't think I've ever seen a swinger come without some kind of half target or a hard cover at his matches, which I'm not mad. I don't know why people get mad about that.
Right.
Like, you should
even
be
for everybody.
It's even for everyone, but you should be practicing that kind of stuff. Right. I know swingers are hard already, but if you can make the difficulty even harder, you start to learn. Like, and honestly, before I came to this match, I did really bad on swingers. Like, I practiced 2 days of swingers, and I just kept chucking rounds at it. Like, I didn't focus. Like, I learned something. I made some videos for the Insider Circle, and I did some swinger videos, and I practiced making videos. And because I coached those videos and I taught those videos, I learned something about swingers. And I'm not afraid of them at all. It's really weird, because it's like, now I know whether I'm on it or I'm not on it. Now, am I getting 2 alphas on every swinger? Absolutely not. I don't think really anybody is. I think you're getting some, but 99% of the time, just right on that. Right. If I'm in that Alpha Charlie zone, I'm super excited. Now, I'm never happy with a Delta, except for when it's a swinger. Well,
one pass,
but except for when it's a swinger. If I get a Delta on a swinger, I'm like, I'm good. Now, if I made up shots, I'll be pissed that I shot a Delta. But
and most people
Yeah.
do 2 passes in
Right.
swingers, you know.
So these swingers, you're probably going to do 2 passes. Like
Yeah, those partial fast.
carry optics and PCC. Even with my PCC, I saw a lot of people doing double passes, even with a PCC.
Yeah, that was quite fast.
They were and they were far.
Yeah,
I mean,
far.
even if you were as far forward as you could be, there were 20 plus yards.
20 plus
I think
yards.
there were 20 yards, and then I saw people shooting them for 10 yards back farther, and I'm like, why? Why would you make it harder? Like
Right.
he already
It's
made
already
it hard, and he just made it harder. So he went. So I shot zone C, and I went from 86th to 27th overall,
you
and I went
that.
from. I don't know. I think I was like 40 something at the beginning of the day, and I went to 23rd in
So if you came
GM
back
carry
from
optics.
87 to 20, so that third day,
Crushed me.
you
Killed me.
probably were in the top 10.
So I went
came
back and looked
up.
at some scores. If I would have just eliminated the mics, not changed any of my times, I would have been 11th.
Wow.
I think it was 10th or 11th or something like that. And that's without changing any time at all.
Right.
No time at all. Just taking those
taking
mics
those
off.
mics.
That's it. Just taking off those mics. So and every single mic was from me just not seeing it, I guess. Like my brain and my body weren't working together.
Right.
It's weird. I'm pulling the trigger. I'm like, yeah, it's there. And I walk up to the target. I'm like, what? It's just one of those, right? Like, and I mean, there was one target I remember I stared at for a long time before I pulled the trigger. And I'm like, it's there. Boom, boom.
So Mike,
It won. Gone.
wow.
I mean, there's no perfect double. Like, it's gone. Like, I'm like,
Right,
okay.
right.
Like,
Go.
that's freaking what that happened. And then day 3, because I didn't know this until afterwards, but I was awake. My
Right.
body was awake. Everything was ready to go. So I will be changing that for this match. So
Right.
it's interesting though, because carry optics and PCC was a lot harder than this. Wait a minute. It feels harder. We haven't shot this match yet.
But the stages that we walked through,
It feels
we look
so much
open,
easier.
like, this is open. This
Yeah.
is,
And I felt like this match, targets got a lot closer,
yes, they move it closer.
right? Now, there's still some far shots.
Yeah, there's some far.
There's still some far shots, but it got
definitely-
closer.
Yeah, definitely some stages that we shot
Yeah.
already. They move the targets and they kind of remove the farther ones
Yeah.
and move it forward.
So I remember, I wonder if it's our perception, because now we've
Shot it already.
We've been challenged.
Yeah.
So now we're like
That's close.
this is close, right?
We
'Cause-
shot 30 yards. 20 yards now. That's
yeah,
not
that's not that shit. Like, oh man, come on, guys, let's make this shit harder, right? Like, I mean, shooting 35-yard targets
Yeah.
compared to a 20-yard target all of a sudden feels easy, right?
it's
So
bigger.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird because, like, a good example of stage 13 of the match is you shoot the last 3 targets strong hand only.
Yep.
The other match, carry optics, we shot it weekend only.
Yep.
And everybody I saw went from right to left and finished on the back. Well, this stage, it's very viable to you to start on the front left with 2 hands, and then shoot the bobber steel stuff in the middle, and then finish on the right hand side, because now those targets are at 10-15 yards.
Yes.
But they all have hardcover, tuxedos, no shoots. So it's they made it so where even though it's closer, it's more viable to shoot it strong hand on that side of the stage. They gave you penalties to shoot at.
Yep.
Instead of wide open paper. So it was not an
But-
easy decision.
Now that you said that, though, I think it's also like you said, it's viable. Why? Because when I try to measure it visually,
Yeah.
it's almost the same.
Right.
But you can call your shot right
Close up,
away.
right.
You shoot it right-handed.
Yeah.
One thing's right-handed, so
Yeah.
it's not moving a lot.
Yeah.
And you call it right away, and you follow up the shot.
Yeah.
Those 20-25 yards.
You might not be able to see the hits. Yeah.
It looks the same. Yeah, you don't know. You don't know if you hit
Yeah.
it. Now that you said that, maybe we should. It's day 3 for us,
Yeah.
so maybe we walk that stage again and see how
Yeah.
viable that is.
The only
Because
thing
that makes sense.
the only reason I didn't like to going left to right on that specific stage was because you had to back up and go into an activator.
Right. And
Instead
the
of
activator's
attacking
awkward.
an activator. Right. So the first target you see is not the bobber activator. You see
open and
the open paper.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons. But I don't know. Like, one of my strengths right now that I've been working on a lot has been my strong hand. The problem is that's with my Canic, not the open gun. So I don't know, I borrowed a gun. I don't have I literally have 300 rounds out of this gun.
Yeah.
200 of those were chrono rounds.
Right.
I took 200 rounds. I made the first 200 rounds and I shot 100 rounds as a practice, but I chronoed out of those. Those were under. I made a second 100. Those were under, but I chronoed.
Yeah.
I chronoed with those. So I practiced with that 100. Then the next 100 rounds, I chronoed, made it, and then practiced. So actually, I shouldn't say that. I have closer to 500 rounds because I knew that if I bumped it up for the third time, I was going to be well within. So now, hopefully the weather doesn't affect, but I was 175, something. I was well over. So I think I was good. But yeah, man, it's interesting shooting the open gun because there's a lot of intricacies that I don't have yet. Right. That I don't like. Like, I'm not used to that thumb rest. I hate it. But I can't take it off because it's part of the gun.
Right.
So, like, it's of the gun I borrowed.
Interesting is some doesn't use a gas pedal. Like,
I just don't like it because I'm not used to it. It's one of those things where if I got used to it, it would be fine. Yeah. It affects the way I roll into the gun sometimes. Yeah. The last year gun I borrowed, the way I could roll into that gun, the thumb rest was great because I learned it early, but it was also a different angle, the way that thumb rest is. This gun, like, I just haven't had a lot of time with it, so there's some things that I'm not used to, and that sucks because I don't like having to think about, like, get the grip. The grip is plastic, so it's a little different than the few open guns that I borrowed. They're always metal. It doesn't have as much of a tackiness that I like compared to mechanic. Like, I don't want to say I like a super aggressive grip, but something that if I grab it, it's not going to get loose. Yeah. But it's just different. I like the gun so far. It shoots pretty flat. It's just the timing is completely different than mechanic. Yeah. So it has recoil, but not as much. So, like, if I just have to learn to be patient. I have shot a lot of steel with this gun, and I definitely like that because for me, there's no trigger. Like, it's not like the mechanic's pretty good, but there's a lot of play in the front that I have to hold on to. This thing, I'm letting out a lot more than I need to. Right. So it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, cool. Just, keep that finger edge on there and just straight back. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's the thing I struggle to with open. I still squeeze the trigger more than more than I should be doing.
Well, and that's where the yanking comes from too.
Yeah.
Right?
You should be pulling the trigger. How many pounds you should only be.
If it's a 2-pound trigger, why are you giving a 6-pound trigger pull? Right.
Something that still learning. Learning.
Because I haven't practiced with this a lot. I'm a little tentative on the draw. Like, my draw's fast, but I'm not trigger prepping like I would on the mechanic. Like, honestly, I don't know how many times the mechanic's gone off when it wasn't supposed to. Always on target though, like not a short. Yeah, but I mean, because the way I prep and I prep, and as I start to squeeze out and it's ready, that thing will go off. Right. Like, because I'm on target, but I don't have my dot, and then I'm just like, got to fix. That I don't know where that one went, kind of thing. But so I don't want to do that with this gun because I don't know what this gun does yet, right? So I don't. I mean, I have 3 days of stages, but I don't want to figure that out in nationals and take a chance of getting DQ'd. Right. Because all I have to do is just, as I'm prepping, just send one over the berm or even close, and then have that RO have to make a call. So to me, I don't slap the trigger, but it's definitely not going to be one of those things where I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to end up with a .56 draw on some of these targets. I don't think it's worth it anyway.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about too with the left-handed, left-handed, because I tried it when you today, and literally when I pull the trigger, so it flies. You're using your left hand, using open. Right. It came back, and my trigger was like kind of trigger prep with the right hand. It came back and it bang bang again. Like, I better be just either slapping that when I'm doing the left hand or just letting it go. Yeah. Because if I keep it on the wall, and it kicks back and it falls back in, then it's gonna shot again. So and that's a Comstock target.
No, that's Virginia count.
Oh, Virginia count. So
even worse. You can get a procedural for something stupid. Yeah.
So it better be.
So we have to probably obviously not now, but after nationals, we probably need to get you to get a little more slop in that trigger. It's a little too much. Right. The reason, me personally, this is just me the way I like things. I always want a little bit of play in my trigger, so I have to trigger prep.
Right.
If it's super to the wall, I won't trigger prep. You just slap the hell out of it. Because, I mean, if there's no wall and it's just like you can breathe on it, it'll go off, you never really give yourself a chance to prep.
You're right.
Right?
You're right. Because sometimes you have to wiggle your gun,
Yeah.
to, as you run,
Right.
and wiggle your gun to
Right.
aiming at the target. And then if you're already at the wall, and then a little
it's
bit
just
of
going to go
swing,
bang.
it's
Yeah.
gonna go bang.
And again, it's not that it's dangerous because you keep your finger out of the trigger like you're supposed to,
Yeah.
but it's when you're running into the target and you're not ready.
Yeah.
And the gun you just happen to
Your dot
brush
is not
it.
there yet.
It's going to go right into the no shoot
Yeah.
or into the dirt next to it. And not that that's a DQ, but you're not going to be, now it's going to be like, oh crap. Okay, I got to get back. You know, it's startling to have that gun go off when you're not ready.
better
So,
ready, yeah.
and again, it's not even a safety thing. It's just the fact that you have this stage plan in your mind, and as soon as one thing changes that stage plan, such as you shoot an extra bullet when you're not supposed to, now you're like, oh man, I got to get this figured out.
Yeah, or you overswing the target and
Yeah.
you go back, and then it's already bang.
Well, a good example is like our stage 18 was on Carry Optics with the ammo can.
Yeah.
That they weighted it to like 20, 25 pounds, whatever it was, which,
heavy shit.
for me doesn't bother me. I used to work out before I hurt my back, and now I'm getting back to it after I get out of nationals. But I ran that stage so hard. I'm like, this is my last stage. I didn't know where I was. Before that stage, I had 2 stages scores that I didn't have in the thing. So I know I went from 86th to 46th. Like from whatever how many stages we shoot on the last day? 5 or 6? I think 6.
That's 13 to 18, so that will be 6.
6 stages. So I was 4 stages in, and I went from 86th to 46. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I had no idea what my score was. I looked at the scores to see how I did, not to see if I had better hit factors. I didn't care about any of that. I just looked to see how I did. Like, was I accurate? What, those kind of things.
See, that I was different. I know, because I know you're supposed to be shooting the best you can regardless, right? But like I told you, I checked my score day before, and then I was behind like 400 points the last day, and then last 2 stages I was behind 200 points. Like, oh shit, this is it.
Yeah.
So,
but did you guys shoot the same zone or no?
Same zone, but he shot in the morning.
Oh,
there you go. So I saw his score already.
Right.
So I was like out stage 3. I was beat a little bit. Stage 4, because we started at stage 3, 4 and 5. And I got beat, like, how this is. And then I skipped checking, which I shouldn't, like you said. You should be shooting the best you can regardless of what's, happening. But I can't help it and check. But at the same time, it also depends on the mindset. It kind of makes me more focused, because the difference that day, when I know that I was beat and I have to do well, the whole time I was mentally going through my targets, which, like I said, you should be doing anyway. But the whole time I was pasting and then go back to thinking about the stage, except for that phone call and then pasting and have someone reshoot. But that's a different.
All right, so Nestor, I don't know. We don't know if this guy could have won the national championship. Who knows in what class he was in? But Nestor got on his phone about his brand new Tesla that he's ordering, and the guy calls him to get some information from him, and Nestor pastes this guy's target. The RO walks over. Now, I wasn't there, but somebody told me the story. The RO walks over and goes, "Hey, man." He goes, "Oh, sorry. I was on the phone." So Nestor pastes this guy's target early like a dumbass. This guy had 2 mics and a no shoot, and Nestor saved his ass because he was on the damn phone getting a car. So not a good thing, but I mean, it happens.
Dude, he burned the stage after that.
Of course. Well, that's not good. That's not good, because somebody could have got screwed because of your sorry ass.
You better buy Nestor some dinner, dude.
Yeah, well, hopefully he gave you some money for a down payment on the Tesla, you douchebag. That's hilarious.
But anyway, yeah. But I guess it depends on the mindset. Some people get, like scared or nervous because they're beaten. Like me, I was like super focused. Like I was running the stage, and dude, last stage, still behind 90 points, and I won by 14 points. Like, dude, like that's only like 1 mic or a second or 2 behind. So
yeah, I think that's something that I learned just recently. I asked JJ Rikaza about that and asked him, I said, man, when did you decide to start looking at scores? And he told me, he said, when you're in the 5%, when you're in that top 5%, you're scoring, you're always in the top 5% at every match, and you're shooting the same points and scores and all that kind of stuff. Because at that point, then you're good, right? It's one of those mental things. To me, what changed my mindset about looking at scores was I figured out I was good. Right. I know I'm fast. I know I'm accurate. All those things. I mean, you got to do those at every match. Obviously, I didn't finish that job that I wanted to at nationals, but you gain this confidence, self-confidence, right? Right. And I think that's important in this sport and I know some people just don't understand how that confidence things works. They just look at you and think you're cocky because you say, yeah, man, I'm a good shooter, or yeah, I'm going to win nationals. I mean, you think anybody walked up to JJ and he said, no, I'm not going to win? Fuck no. He said, I'm going to win. Right. So, I mean, of course, that's how, if you were a competitor and you don't say, yes, I have a chance to win, you're never going to win. That's just how it is mentally, right? There was never one time when you found out you were down by 200 points that you said, I'm going to lose, did you?
No. I was focused. One thing, there's one stage that you guys walked and Craig, the plan, this is the plan. It was the clamshell.
Yeah, clamshell.
So steel.
Yeah, that was stage 3, I think. Yeah. Or is it 2?
That's the winning stage for me. Yeah. So steel, and back. So that was, for me, that was the best plan. But because my skill level, I was like, this is the last stage. If I just short of that steel come back to the clamshell and then it's already close, that means I have to take the headshot and it will probably take me 2 seconds, later. So that's the part where I guess, depending on your confidence, like you said.
Right.
Yeah, at that point, my confidence is not like, I don't know, maybe at 50-50. Like, am I going to make it or not? So I decided to just hit the steel from the port first, and then I went with steel, and then the partial in the corner.
Yep.
And then went back to clamshell.
So so when you came in, you opened, did you start on the open target as you entered? So you went open target, activator, so that was the no shoot on the left, and then the swinger. Or the max trap, right?
And it was just exactly where, because if I did,
now
Craig's faster than me.
But here's the thing: if you would have done it with the steel, you would have sped up anyway.
Oh yeah.
So, but because you took it out, you could take your time.
Yes.
So that's the thing is when you stage plan it, you give yourself a little bit more time. It's not that you can't do it though. You're only giving yourself a safer plan.
Yes.
Right? That's it. I mean, it's not that you couldn't have, but you're giving yourself a safer plan.
I wasn't, but I wasn't, like I said, my skill level is like, because I saw Craig, and he's way faster than me.
Yeah.
And
I don't think so.
No.
You think so. You think so. You think so, but that's because you sandbag and see, right? So,
no.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was a risk that I was in last stage. I needed to make 90 points. He had a mic that stage, so if I won't mic it, then that would
So that's where the score watching really helps.
Yes,
because now you can go and shoot. Not so much as you're shooting a safer plan. Really, honestly, you are.
I was shooting fast because I don't want it to be also like
But that's the problem. Also, is that what happens is people see that that guy has a mic. I can slow down a little bit because he has a mic. If he shot that thing super fast, that mic's not going to affect him.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
So that 90 points that you were behind, well, you only won by 14.
14.
So that means if you give him his mic back and give him an alpha, he beat you by 1 point.
Probably. Because that's 10 points, right?
See, no, 10 points plus the 5 he missed.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So that would have been 1 point. So this is how a mic can swing a match.
Right.
Because literally you beat him by a mic and a Charlie.
Yeah. He had a mic.
Right. Well, he had a mic, which means he didn't get the 5.
No mic.
Oh, the mic.
Shoot.
Oh.
I think that was a clam.
So that's 20 points.
Yeah.
So maybe he went for steel, and then he went to the stage. He went with our stage play, right? And he ran right into the clamshell. So I mean, yeah, because there was a no shoot on the back left too.
Yeah.
So that could have been that. Yeah, and that was a hard lean on that as a PCC guy. So that could have been. That was when you went around to the left and entered.
Right.
So it could have been that as well. But it's yeah, man, it's interesting because there's a lot of different things that go into 18 stages.
Oh yeah.
And it literally came down to one max trap or a mic no shoot for you in a
last stage,
18
brother. Last
stages.
Last stage.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. Yeah, and I saw the score. He's got a mic at 24 seconds, and we finished the same exact time on that stage, 24 seconds.
Wow.
He just had a mic no shoot, and I didn't.
So the crazy part is that stage is not actually what won nationals. It was all the other stages.
Oh yeah. That. Like
just like you didn't win that stage by only 14.
Yeah.
You could have won it by a lot more because of those other stages. That day two killed you. And that was a big point section.
Big points, and I lost every stage.
Yeah. The worst place to win at that match was 2. It was the lowest amount of points. It was like 3%, 3%, 2%, 3%. Yeah, I mean, it was like, okay, cool. I beat that guy by 3 extra points. Woo!
Yeah,
you know,
it was the opposite. That's why I was catching up because he beat me in zone 3, and I won every stages in zone 2. So I was like way behind when the day started. But
so this brings up a great point because I talk about this all the time. I always shoot on trophy day, which is Sunday.
Yep.
And what advantage did you have? Even though you weren't in zone 1, A, B, or C, you were in A
zone.
or last zone, which was our first zone for me.
Yeah.
You got a chance to see his scores, and you got to work against those scores on every single stage.
I was so focused that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that I had to catch up.
Yeah.
Like I said, never in the whole time spent in one stage that I, after pacing, go back to left.
Nice
pace. Like I'm always like there was no hesitation where I go next. Before I was catching up, you walk the stage and you pace, you joke around. I was quiet, and even Jason like, "You okay?"
Yeah.
Like, "I'm okay, dude. I'm okay."
Trying to see if you were in your own head screwing around, right?
Yeah. But I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. It made me more focused. Actually, some people might be. That's why it's not advisable, I guess, to check scores.
So I look at scores after every single day.
Yeah.
I am starting to look at scores now. But I don't look at other people's scores. I look at my own. I kind of look at, actually, I shouldn't say I do look at other people's scores, but only to see what available points are. I don't really sit down and go, oh, look, he's super accurate. And I can't change any of that. That doesn't matter.
No.
But I want to see where I'm at with points. If I'm down by 50, 60 points or whatever, there's ways to kind of figure that out at the end before you even get there.
Right.
But again, the one thing I learned is every time you shoot a stage, your scores change somebody else's scores.
Yeah.
So if you go in there and you crush it and you win that stage, well, it knocks everybody else down because now you get 100% of the points.
Yes.
So it changes those scores a lot. So you might say you're down and you're out, but you probably not out.
After the other guys shoot and changes the
So that's
rank.
why I like to shoot on Sunday. So for me, nationals, it's PM, AM, PM for me, if possible, because I want to know where I'm at with the best shooters. I want to be the best shooter or one of the best shooters, and I want to hang with those guys. So points wise, so that is very important for me to know where I'm at. If I don't know where their scores are, how can I tell where mine are at?
Right, exactly.
Right? I mean, I might be winning on day 1, but those guys shot the shittiest point stages. Why would I then I can't, like, hell yeah, I was in first place on day 1. All right, cool. Like I shot an area that had 600 points and the area they shot was 300 points. Well, I'm not winning, right? Because
by the time they shot 600
they shoot the 600 point stage, I'm getting my ass kicked and I'm like, oh man, that really was humbling, So that was the only thing that I would say that really changed like my mindset on shooting. So this year I made this mistake last year when I shot Carry Optics Nationals. I just picked a squad. I shot with friends. I didn't care about what zone I was in. And I learned my lesson. I want to be in zone 1 with the big boys. If I'm not on the super squad, which I don't know. I don't know if I would fit on the super squad personality wise anyway, but because I would just probably put my headphones on. I don't really know any of those guys too well personally. So, but those guys, I want to be in their zone so that I can at least have an idea of where I'm at. So Carry Optics Nationals was really good for that experience because I had one stage that kind of dropped me down really far. I was 13th on day 1 if I was in the top 5 to, I think I was in the top 10 on every stage but the one that I had 3 mics on because of the sun. So it put me in 13th place with 3 mics.
Wow.
So I wasn't really like far off, even though I screwed the pooch on that one stage. Well, then I got to day 2 and I dropped the ball, but I knew where I was from day 1 to day 2. So that if I go and, like I said, if I'm in a different zone, I don't know where I'm at.
Right.
I mean, the worst part was I had other guys that weren't in zone 1 that I knew that are good, great guys and great shooters. So I was kind of keeping an eye on those guys just to see how they shot. And I was like, all right, well, how do you know? Like, because they're in a totally different zone that had high points.
Right.
Then I had really good shooters that were in zone B that, who knows?
Yeah,
that's the worst zone for points. So nobody really knew where everybody was unless you were in that first zone. Because obviously the super squad, the majority of the time somebody on that squad's gonna get it.
Right. Until last day, and you're shooting PM like you said, and everyone shot already and shot morning already. So everybody's score is there except your PM shooters. So
yeah. And that was the thing is a lot of the good shooters finished in AM.
Right.
Like not a lot. Actually, yeah, there was a lot. We had a 56 or something like that GMs this year in carry optics. That was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot.
So for me to climb back from 40 plus to I was in the 40s in GM, but 86th in carry optics in general. So masters and A's and all kinds of guys were kicking my ass. So for me to fight back, I'm not unhappy. I'm not happy. Like I'm not excited that I didn't get what I wanted.
You can do better.
But I'm super proud of myself for fighting back, and I'm super proud that the way I shot day 1 and day 3 shows me where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
I just need to put it together. But there was a lot of guys that said that. I talked to a lot of guys, and actually a couple people mentioned afterwards that it felt like 3 different matches. But I don't feel like it was 3 different matches stage-wise. I think it was just 3 different matches the way I shot.
You did, yeah.
I think it was 2 different matches. I shot day 1 and day 3 great, and day 2 I was like, where the hell did I go? You know, I might as well have been shooting a damn local, you know, when I was throwing practice shots and shit. I don't know. It was weird. I ended up with 4 mics on that day.
Jeez.
Or 5 mics. I had 5 mics that day because I had 3 on one stage on zone 1 with the sun.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even all on one stage. Actually, I did have 2 on one stage.
Zone 2 that you have 5
Zone
mics?
2 killed me, yeah.
Wow.
And that's it. It wasn't even a hard match.
I don't have mic at all.
I know.
Zone 2.
Yeah.
And then 3, which you crossed,
is your
I had
day
like
2.
3 mic and 1 no shoot and something. Like, day 2, same thing. So.
It was it's interesting, and actually I'll go back to this because I started to tell the story I think and never finished. But stage 18 we talked about. You were talking earlier about staying focused or whatever you had to do you were really focused. So I kind of brought up to my mind where on that specific stage it was the one with the ammo can. I ran to the front, and for whatever reason, I was just running my ass off, and I was just banging out points. I felt really good. I was shooting strong hand, and which is one of my strengths, I believe. And I'm shooting, and I get to the end, and I drop the can. I do a great standing reload, and I half rack the gun when I'm starting to pick it up from the reload. And I don't know why, like, the gun was loaded, but I did a half-ass rack. I didn't even get a full rack. So right away, I knew it didn't feel right.
Right.
But because it's the system and what you're supposed to do, I pick the gun up and I go click and the slide falls forward, which is a striker fired. So it didn't go bang.
Yeah.
So I rack the gun and I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. Just rack it real quick. I rack the gun and the round hits me dead center in the glasses, which, 100's HD gold, baby. They kept my eyes safe.
There you go.
Hit me right in the center of the eyeball, like of the glasses. So it was like, bam. And I was like, okay. I pick the gun up, I go for the dot, and I go 1, 2, and I miss the steel twice. Because at that point, my mind was like, holy shit, I just got hit in the face. Like, what's going on? I mean, it just all happened so fast.
Right.
So then I crushed the rest of that stage, and I ended up with 21 seconds. So I think about all the things that went wrong with that stage, and I would have been 19 seconds probably.
21 seconds is still very fast.
It was, but I ended up 10th overall on that stage. I could have been somebody.
Right.
That's the part that upset me about some of the stages. It was just all the stages I was in the top 10 on by the end of the match. And I'm just like, man, it was just like if I wouldn't have missed that steal or wouldn't have had that makeup shot on that steal and 99% of the stuff for me was makeup shots on steal. And it's a lot of it has to do with I just rushed. I wasn't trigger prepping. I mean, I was trigger prepping, but I wasn't stopping on the steel. I was pushing. I tried to go too fast. And I had a couple stages where, and honestly, at this match, Shannon and those guys really pushed the steel out there.
Right. There's a steel every stage.
So you couldn't do it. You had to stop and settle up on it and really go one for one. And so I learned a lot. It was a very, very, very valuable lesson in match management, I would say. Like, push it where you can and don't push it in other spots where you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned a lot of. I am going to change my style up for nationals.
I think, yeah, me too. I think I have to figure out, because I still don't know which, like, how far am I that I could say confidently that I'm hitting that target 90% of the time.
Right.
You know, like that far, moving sideways, moving left side. You know, I have to know my skill level going in major matches on where, how far, where, what kind of targets I can push, or I can be conservative a little bit. I think that's important. Of course, you aim to be very good at whatever target and fast at every target, but you know, for me personally, I have to know where I'm at going into the match, so that I know, and oh, that's the target. Well, I can get away with running there, shooting it. That's how I go. Or no, the 90% of or 60% chance of me making up a shot because I practice it and I can hit it at least at that level when I came into the major match. I'm with practice, of course, you're gonna improve, but I have to know, like tomorrow we're going to a major match. I have to know certain target that I have to stop.
Yeah, what's your strengths, what your weaknesses.
Yes.
Right.
And you aim to improve that. But like I said, you have to know at that stage, at that day, tomorrow exactly, you know which target you're going
So
for.
this is something that I love to talk about, because it drives me crazy when I watch people walk stages. So you follow 90% of the things that I say, right? 99% of the things on the stage plans, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that you do when we walk stages? What makes you change something? Your skill level?
I think, my
Okay.
confidence and skill level.
So here's the difference.
Yeah.
You still follow the same stage plan.
I do.
You just change
do.
little things to
Very
fit
little.
your skill set.
Right.
But why don't people do that? I hear this all the time when I watch really good shooters tell shooters, "Oh man, don't do that. You're not good enough to move and shoot on that. Oh, don't do this."
Every skill level is different.
Every skill level is different.
Yeah.
And what's to say that he can't do it on that
No.
one time?
No.
What if he needs that to win the match? You're going to tell him don't do it because don't be safe?
Yeah, like the stage one, when I told you there's a partial target. In a given day, if I wasn't catching up, I'll be bang. I would make sure that's there. But I have to be fast. And in this distance, I think 80% of the time, I can risk it and just see one side picture and go at it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that I can do it, maybe not 100%, but because I'm catching up and I can do it 80% of the time, it's
worth the risk.
Yeah, it's worth the risk. You know, versus I gotta play safe. You know. So,
but see, in my opinion, playing safe is why most people lose.
Right.
Right. It is.
Right.
I mean,
right.
So listen. I talked to JJ at the end of the match, and I asked him. He said he'd been practicing a lot of long distance steel. The match really fit for the way he had been training. And he said, he's like, man, I've been practicing a lot on the long distance. It all came together as like it should, because his practice, fulfilled everything. He's like, but I came here and I was like, all right, let's see, how much can I push that?
Right.
How much can I push speed? And honestly, he pushed speed big time this match. I mean, he really worked the speed.
Right.
So I don't know. I think he beat me by 30 seconds. That's insane.
That's insane.
He's not 30 seconds faster than I am.
Right.
He's a great shooter,
Right.
but he's not beating me by 30 seconds on every single match.
Right.
So I went back and started looking at my matches or my stages, and I was like, well, there's 3 makeup shots. It's, miss one, miss 2, hit the third one. If you start missing that on 18 stages,
it
adds up big time. Now, day 3, I didn't miss. Honestly, I'm trying to think. I think I missed 2, maybe 3 makeup shots at all.
That's like
a
second or two.
And that's on steel, right? So
right.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
Compare like day 2, that's where I got my ass whipped. Day 1, I had some stages there that I was 13th because of the makeup shots. Right. I know it was. I mean, I know 100%. Like stage 1, I guess I'll tell that story because I haven't told that yet. But stage 1, I was the first shooter of the match. I get up to the line. I'm super focused, not nervous at all. I put in so much time and training. I'm ready to go. Like, I feel like, let's go.
Right.
I get up to the line, make ready. Everything feels great. I come off the draw. Amazing draw. Like, dude, less than a second draw on the move into a popper at 20 yards. Bam, dead center. Like, yeah, let's go, motherfucker. Shoot the paper. Transition to my left to shoot the no shoot, which is at a 45-degree angle from it's way in front of me, like nowhere near 180. Right. And I get ready to pull the trigger and I hear stop.
What happened?
I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
So I point down range right away. Immediately point my gun down range because I was down range, but I immediately made sure I was 100% down range. And I turn around to the RO, and he goes, "It's okay. It's, you did nothing wrong. The steel fell."
Oh shit.
So I unload, show clear, and I turn around and I'm just like, holy shit. Like,
I thought you pulled
you
pulled a Craig.
Pulled a Craig. Yeah. We'll have to get into that story. So my heart is pounding, I have this huge adrenaline, like my adrenaline's jacked up from it. I turn around and look at the RO and I said, that's fucked up. Like, that is so messed up, dude. And he just kind of started laughing. The whole squad's like, holy shit, dude. Like, everyone's laughing because they're like, dude, like, they could see my face like, what the hell's going on? Like, I didn't think I did anything wrong, but dude, I don't know.
When someone
like,
calls stop,
yeah, that's like the first thing in your mind, right? So I walk away, and the RO, they go to set the steel and paste a few things that I did, and the RO comes over and he yells at me from the middle of the bay, and the stage, and he goes, "You ready to go right away?" And I go, "Yeah." And then I felt my legs start to tremble from the adrenaline dump.
Right.
And I was like, "Nope, I'm not going." Everyone else was like, "Dude, no, don't go." Right. Craig was there, a bunch of other guys, new people I'd never met before. Everybody was really cool on our squad. It was kind of neat. I got to shoot with Matt Hopkins from CZ. I've never met him before, so that was really cool to kind of talk to him a little bit and pick his brain a little bit about USPSA. I got to talk to him a little bit about USPSA stuff, what it was like to run for his position in Area 3 director now. And it was really neat. He's a nice guy, really nice guy. Really, God, that guy is so accurate, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he is so accurate. Like, all the long distance shit, it was a joke. I just was like, what the hell, dude? Like, super accurate shooter at distance. Like, it was crazy. Damn. But, so I got to talk to him a little bit, and there was a couple of guys I met, Bo and Chad. I got to talk to them a lot. And actually, I'll go ahead and tell the story. Craig DQ'd at the match. So Bo and Chad, I ended up talking to them 90% of the time. And Bo and Chad, Bo actually helped me video all my stages, which was awesome because, Craig usually does that. I usually do Craig's. But he wasn't there for the rest of the match. But so I got to hang out with those guys and kind of talk a lot about, basically what we were, how the match was going or whatever. But I'm like, Craig's gone, so I can't like dump anything off on him and talk stage planning and that kind of stuff. So I kind of talked to those guys, but it was, so I go up stage 1 and I shoot it again, and I shoot it exactly the same way. I missed my first shot, didn't have as good of a draw, missed my first shot, hit the steel, then the paper, then the no shoot, backed up, fixed my grip that time on the second as I came out. So it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't perfect. And ran over, shot some stuff, had a little bit of a foot stumble like as I was entering, so I wasn't sure like on one of the targets that I entered if I had a hit or not. It felt low. After watching the video, I think I hit the target, but I made it up anyway. That threw my timing off a little bit on the steel. So I hit steel. I think I went 1 for 1. I think I missed the second steel. I hit steel, missed steel, hit steel, then a hard leaning paper. No. Hit the steels, but I had a makeup shot on the paper because it didn't feel good on one of the shots, which was the hard lean.
Yeah.
Then I came out, reloaded, ran up to the left, hit a popper on the move coming in at full speed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, it's stupid, but it was the big one, obviously.
Right.
So I hit that thing, paper, swinger, hits no problem. Then I get to the paper in the back, shoot that, and then I get to 3 small pieces of steel. I'm pretty sure it was 3, not 2, 3. And I go miss, hit, miss, hit, paper.
Oh, shit. That's like 4 makeups.
So you add that up, and I bet you I was 2 to 3 seconds off the pace because of that.
Yeah,
and that's exactly
definitely.
what I lost in time.
Yeah.
But the stage plant went great. It was great.
Right.
But I just did not. I couldn't execute that small steel, and it wasn't even hard. I just went fast. I went too fast.
Just a little bit,
Just went too fast. So and that carried on throughout the whole match, like until day 3. For what? And I talked to a couple guys about day 3. I feel like maybe day 3 was just kind of like a fuck it day.
Sometimes it's better when you just didn't give a
but
damn,
I mean,
right?
I felt like that from day 1.
Yeah,
I had
let's
zero.
do it.
I had zero expectations.
Right,
I didn't go in there like putting any pressure on myself. I didn't say I have to win nationals to do well. I just kind of didn't have any expectations, and I didn't want any expectations.
Right.
I don't put pressure on it because I have a shooting academy or any of that stuff. I just do what I do normally, and day 2 was a very rare thing for me. I don't usually have days like that, but man, did it come at the worst time.
Right.
It's like getting the flu.
Yeah.
Right? Like I never get sick, and when I do get the sick, it's like, oh my God, I'm dead. I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And it's just how it works.
Yep.
But it's very frustrating because I know I'm better than what the results were.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the part where you're better. What if we could have done better? So
yeah,
that's
it was cool though,
frustrating
because
part.
at the end, I mean, being 26th or 27th, whatever it was, total, I actually ended up getting a SIG optic, which was cool. So it paid for,
Nice.
I don't want to say it paid for nationals because I've spent a fortune coming here.
We're still spending.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. So yeah. So Nestor and I have been here for a full week.
Yes.
So we came in Thursday. I came in Thursday. You came in Friday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
8 days now.
9 days.
Oh, 9
Friday is 9 days. So I've been here 9 days. So it'll be 11 or 12 days.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is not a vacation. What a bunch of dumbasses. So I'm an idiot. I shouldn't be here. I should have went home, but I didn't want to drive home and be home a day and then have to drive all the way back. It wouldn't have made sense. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess if they ever get this mass thing over with, I'll be able to fly again, and I would have flown home and then flown back.
That's
but
better.
it is what it is. It's just part of shooting, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
So, but I'm trying to think. There was something else I wanted to talk to you about that was, I guess I'll get into this. So you moved up to B. You got a match bump.
Yeah.
So a lot of those C-class guys will be happy that you got a match bump.
Oh, yeah.
What's your classification number right now?
Coming in, I know, we talk about, sandbagging and everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to move up because, I've been in C for
a year.
I got bumped. Yeah, I got bumped from the last year's national.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy, There's 2 of us, I guess there's 3 of us. So it was like me winning by 14 points and behind 200 points. It's not, it's not that easy. And, but now, I'm bumped up to B, just barely 60.1, dude.
So many people are happy. They're yes, finally.
Finally I moved up, but, it's exciting. I'm really wanting to move up anyway. I just waited for nationals, and I want to be. If I move up, I'd rather be in the major match.
A match bump.
A match bump rather than one Sunday classifier stages. But
now you're there, man. I don't think you'll have any problem in B because would you have won B this match?
I look at it. I was second
in
B, and then ninth if I was A. So definitely not A level.
Different levels.
Yeah, different than that A
so
level.
I guess we can get into that conversation. One thing people just don't seem to understand is that I don't want to say that if you're going to win nationals, you're a sandbagger, but you're probably not going to shoot your classification number.
No. Like this example.
Yeah.
Did I win it easy? No, it wasn't. If not for Mike no shoot of the other guy, I could have not win. So, and especially the thing that they made changes, you only get, when if there's 10 or 20 or 30. So us, the PCC would be, there's only 19 of us in C.
Yeah.
So there's only one. There's only first. Second
for the trophy. You mean
the trophy? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get into that because I try not to be that guy who talks a lot of shit about USPSA, But one thing we need to do in USPSA, especially nationals, is if you're in the top 3 of your division and there's more than 10 people,
Yes.
the top 3 need to get a trophy.
Yes.
You charge $285 for a match.
Yes.
I cannot understand for all the things we do this for.
Right.
Which is one thing.
Yeah.
It's
And-
to win and get a damn trophy.
Yeah. I mean,
It's the only thing that we get from this sport.
Right. We don't get cash. We don't get nothing.
yes. It's we don't get free hotels. We
No.
don't get food.
No.
I mean, we pay for we're basically paying for a trophy is what we're doing this
Yeah.
for. And I mean, obviously we're doing it for the competition, and trophies isn't what I do this for, but
Yeah.
I like for nationals, in my opinion, you should get a damn trophy if you're in the top 3 of your division. I
Dude.
don't understand how they're like this year they did 20,
10, 20, and 30.
10, 20, 30. Are you shitting me? 30 people? That's
20,
a lot of
what was
people.
that? The Carry Optics B, PCC B.
Yes.
What was it, 27 or 29?
28, 29.
29.
28 or 29
And they
people.
only gave first and second
First and
because
second.
only 29.
Which
Are
our
you
buddy Matt
kidding
Kobe
me?
ended up taking 3rd place in PCC and didn't get a
Get
trophy
anything.
because there was 29 shooters instead
I
of
mean,
30
29, top 3 out of 29? I mean, you don't get
at
any.
$285 a shooter.
Exactly.
And you're
At
not even
29
giving them a
people.
fancy trophy. They're getting a damn plaque.
Right.
They're not
You know
even
what it
getting
costs,
one
like
of the
20
fancy
bucks?
PCC Carry Optics trophies. Thank you. I
don't
just
get it. I don't
it's
get
the
it.
only thing about nationals that really bothers me.
Right.
Food, all that stuff that's kind of out of your hands. You can hire anybody and they could screw that up, right?
Right.
I don't care about any of that stuff. I mean, I can go get my own food if I know they're not going to supply food, whatever it is. I get it. There's always somebody out there complaining, but damn if we can't get people trophies for what we do. I
Right.
just
I
don't
don't get it.
understand. We have local matches that give damn trophies for
Maybe
$60.
Yeah, and for even 5 people, they gave one trophy.
It just doesn't. I don't understand. I
Yeah,
think
me
that's
neither,
really
me
shitty
neither.
to do to people. People really work hard to get that trophy. We spend thousands of dollars to come to a match, and you can't give us a $10 plaque back.
Yes.
that's
And-
shit.
yeah.
That to me is that's shitty.
Yeah, I think 10. Like, it was a rule before. 10.
So it is a rule, but it's a rule that needs to be changed.
Right.
That's what I mean. I'm
No.
not like this has nothing to do with like I'm not saying that someone personally is making this up. This is a rule that they have.
Right.
But it needs to be changed or made into a suggestion
Right.
instead of a rule to where you can break that rule. Like, all right,
Right.
cool, guys. We've made enough money that we're at 29 shooters. Let's give 3rd place a trophy. If we were, 29 shooters
For
or even 28, let's
$285
round
each?
up. Let's round up to 30 then. Jesus Christ. Like, I don't get that. It's very, very, very shitty to do to people who spend a lot of money to do this sport.
And not get any for being top 3.
Again,
Right.
how about just what happens if you have a division that has just enough, but you can't give 2nd place? Really? 2nd place doesn't get a trophy either? This is the shit you get in this game that I don't understand.
I
I
don't
get it.
understand.
I understand they have rules, and I'm sure it's 99% of the time it's a financial thing, I'm sure, because it's money.
Yeah.
If
But
you have
last year, it was 10 shooters, there's 3. And then they just changed it now.
No, it's
to
been a
20.
rule. It's been a rule. It has been a rule. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how that rule works. If there's I thought personally that was just a suggestion.
Yeah, probably.
That there's a certain number they have to follow because I know I thought it was 357. But level 3s are a little different. They have different rules for those. So I don't know. But again, you charge the most for that match. You're telling me you don't have money to hook people up with a damn
For
trophy.
20,
I'm not asking
30.
you to give trophies down to 15.
Right.
You know what I mean? But again, the other thing with nationals though is they give down to 10. 1 through 10 get a trophy.
Right.
So you start adding 1 through 10, 1 through 3, 1 through 3.
Right.
The top.
That's it.
Yeah. So that it adds up.
Yeah.
And so it's a financial decision not to just
but
give
still,
trophies.
dude, it's
I agree.
285 entrance
I agree.
fee. I mean,
So,
even
but-
if everyone gets a participation
Right.
trophy out of 285, they can give a $10 play.
But the $285 doesn't go as far as everybody thinks. I've
Right,
listened to
right,
quite a
there's-
few podcasts with Jake Martins and Troy McManus and some of those guys talking about this stuff. $285 doesn't go far in today's world.
Yeah,
just think about what catering costs.
Yeah.
Just think what catering costs, range fees, targets. I mean, let's just say you have 2 sessions of 2 squads at 13 shooters, and between session 1 and session 2, you change targets. It's $1 a target.
Yeah. Yeah.
32 rounds.
Yeah. 3 days.
Yes.
3 days.
You're
of
talking,
shooting.
15 targets. If you have 30 rounds, 15 targets. There's $30. That's day 1.
Right.
That adds up very quickly, right? Staff has to be paid. Hotels have to be paid.
There.
Food has to be paid. Now listen, they're not going broke. We all know that.
Right.
They're making money.
Right.
The guys that run it are making money. The people that they pay to bring in and build stages, they're all making money. Again, that's awesome. They should be paid. But a trophy should also be paid. That should be put in there somewhere in that financial situation.
Because you said 285 doesn't go a long way, but level 2 state championship,
They're getting trophies.
they're getting trophies for $100,
Entry
fee,
fee. Yeah.
entry fee, and there's even less people shooting, and it's still, force proof,
Somehow they're able to do a 357 at Volusia.
exactly,
and
Volusia with
the whack and
$60 fee for some
Right.
some local matches. So I think it's definitely doable.
That
if
is,
you find
that is
ways.
the only real pet peeve I've had with nationals or matches in general. I mean, listen, man, you can complain nonstop about this, but that is one thing that I feel is a very big deal to 99% of the shooters.
Yes.
See, personally, I don't really care about the trophy.
Yeah.
It's not about the trophy. The reason I like the trophy is because I succeeded.
Right.
It's not even a trophy. I don't give a shit. Just
Right.
call my name.
Right.
Just bring me up there, shake hands, be like, hey, man, you won first place. Awesome.
Right.
I don't need the trophy. I don't need any of that.
But majority, the beginner, the
Are doing it for trophies.
Yeah. It's the C class, the B class, the A class. Yeah. You don't win a lot. You
Yeah.
win very rarely. So you want that, something to look at, something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Seeing that, you're gonna just say, "Hey, I won." What? I mean,
Yeah, my favorite trophy, honestly, is the Florida State Championship because it's a giant ass real trophy.
Yeah. But they have to give. You have to give.
That I have to
back.
give back. I mean, it's a traveling trophy, so I guess I have to just win every year. That is an awesome goal, but come on, that's ridiculous. I have to give the damn thing back. I mean, we can't give me a trophy. I
Your
get to
name's
keep.
gonna be on it though.
Yeah,
Is
but
it?
it's like a little sticker type of thing. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna go up and Sharpie my name on it. It's just more permanent. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I have to give it back. And my one national championship, which C class
go.
national champ PCC.
Oh, you're
So
right.
yeah, that's the
both
only
of us-
national
both of us
championship.
champion? Awesome.
And so
Well
I started talking to all the guys that have won national championships that I coach, and I'm just like, Jesus, you guys all have more national championships than I do. You're gonna have to start a shooting academy. You're a 3-time national champion, then I'm not. But that's what I mean, man. It's this is what you do it for, right? You do it to win. You do it to you want to work hard, you want to earn it, and go from there. But I watch people that don't get trophies after busting their ass spending $1,000 to get here. And what people don't realize that haven't traveled a lot, $1,000 is just the traveling. That's no bullets, no training, no guns, no ammo, food. I would say the $1,000's probably in there. Yeah. But if you drive gas, you need to buy anything. You're here. I mean, all that stuff adds up.
Dude, 3 months before nationals, I practiced every week. What was that? 400 or 500 rounds every week. That's a lot. For 12 weeks, and then local matches and then Sunday matches just to get your skills up and be competitive.
I don't think people realize. Well, people do realize, but some people don't. I don't know, man. The trophy thing, I'll just leave it at that. It just really pisses me off that we don't do trophies for people that there should be zero reason. I don't care what the reason is. There's no financial reason that those trophies aren't taken care of.
Yes.
I mean, we get charged $285 for trophies. They're not trophies. They're plaques.
Yeah,
there's a big difference.
Yeah, slapped with
a piece of printed metal on
vinyl
top
or something, and then that's it.
It just doesn't make sense that
you can't provide.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the only thing that really kind of upsets me. Watching shooters not get what they've earned.
Dude, I mean, I texted some of my friends about what's going on with the world, and everybody says that's shitty. And a few of my friends say, I'm probably not going to shoot, You know, if you look at the match and there's like 19 people shooting, and you know that you may not make top, like why spend $1,000 to go fly to Colorado and come home with nothing because you just went second, you know, and then you have to win 1 out of 19 instead of, you know, at least having a chance,
I mean,
you know?
you don't even have a chance to be in the top 3 and win something because you know it's only going to be the first guy.
The first guy, because there's only 19 people shooting. So like, why spend $1,000 practice?
Well, and I think this year was different because I'll be interested to see how next year goes because we had Carry Optics is by far the biggest division in USPSA right now.
Absolutely. That's why you separated.
Yep. So it's going to be on its own next year. I'll be interested to see how much PCC actually pulls next year because it's joined together with Open.
Just 4 days, dude.
I know.
That's going to be interesting.
It's insane.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine the ROs?
So it's more than 4 days, though. So what people don't realize is it takes a day before you get there to walk stages.
Oh, yeah.
So you're there 5 days, and nobody I know, well, some will, but if you're driving, you're not leaving that night.
No.
You're going to stay and leave the next night.
Right.
So, and the way the award ceremony goes, you're probably not going to stay and drive home or fly home that night. You're going to stay the next day. The next day. So there's 6 days.
Yeah.
You know, that's 6 days right there. So that's 6 days for a regular nationals match. So just turn that foot towards you. So turn this. Turn the whole bottom towards you so that foot's towards you. No, the other way. Twist. There you go. So it helps that lean.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we had a microphone almost fall over, so we had to fix the mic stand. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work as far.
But I'll tell you, next year I think I'm gonna take a shot at. I might be taking a shot at some Open. So I don't know. I haven't figured out whether I'm gonna go back to PCC yet, or I'm gonna go for Open.
Major scoring. You can shot C.
We'll see how this goes this year. So we'll see how it goes this year. I don't know. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna put the money in or not. I'm gonna probably go with actually I think I am. I think I'm gonna buy your backup gun.
There you go.
And then I'm gonna do some adjustments to the
dot. You only need to change the dot.
Just need to get rid of that dot. I can't stand your dot. So but we'll see.
My dot is RTS anyway. But.
Yeah, so I'll get that Sig Romeo 3XL on there and then crank away because I like the way the gun feels. I've shot it before. It's not the gun's good. It's just basically trying to get ammo fitted.
Yeah.
To what the way it needs to be and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 100%. I'm going to buy it. So, but got to put that money in, baby.
All right.
Get that broke ass Tom Castro in that Open division. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. It would be fun to, I think the best part about Open is I think it will make everything else seem slower. Like Carry Optics wise. So like when I go back to Carry Optics
and then going to Open,
it's going to make Carry Optics a lot slower. So then it'll be more about just training basically, like getting that timing back down. But I think if I have the Open, because I laugh and joke a lot about shooting Charlies on purpose, but you can't shoot Charlies with an Open one. You just can't because the guys that are at the best, they're going to shoot a lot of A's. You know.
Yeah.
You're gonna shoot a lot of A's, but it'll be nice to see where I stack with those guys too. You know, the Open's a different game. It's a faster game. It's the way I like to shoot. I'm a lot more aggressive, I think, than I probably should be with my Carry Optics sometimes. Nationals taught me a very valuable lesson in that. I definitely shot not stages, but positions faster than I should have. And it cost me a little bit in hits. I was the same scores as Max Michel, other than the other mics. I had more mics than he did. But he beat me by 15 seconds or something like that.
That's
maybe a little bit more than that.
I mean, it sounds a lot, but if you think about it, 18 stages. So it's not even a second.
Well, he didn't shoot his best match for sure because I definitely didn't. So if he got close to the same hits I did, then I'm sorry because I did not do well on day 2 at all. Day 1 and day 3 I did good, but day 2 I shit the bed. So, but man, him and JJ and Max Michel both just crushed time at this match. I was really interesting to see the separation between those two guys compared to all of us, everybody else. So it just kind of shows. I watched JJ shoot the match, and the one thing I noticed about JJ is he was just getting off of his shots immediately. Like he was really calling his hits. He shot a target, like a 35-yard target, and I don't think the bullet hit the target by the time he left.
He left.
Like it was trigger prep, bang, and he had already ran.
Okay, yeah.
And he hit it. I watched the scores. He hit it.
I think he's big on that. I remember when we,
I do the same. And I do the same, but at 35 yards, I don't think I'm confident. I'm definitely not seeing at that distance, but I'm not confident enough to go, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's one of those things where I'm just not, I guess I am, but I wasn't in tuned at this match like that. Like there's times when I'm really in it and I'm really in tune and I'm able to pull on the second shot and just leave because I know it's there because I pulled and left at the proper time.
Well, like you said, he trained far targets.
Yeah. Which I did too. I did too. Like I've never felt or shot this well at nationals before. I mean, my position didn't show it, but that's also because every amazing ass shooter showed up to this match.
Oh yeah, everyone's
like there. Yeah. I mean, I beat guys this year that by a lot that beat me last year. I beat guys this year or was closer to those guys than I was last year that were beating me this year. So it's a totally different match. It's really hard at this nationals to compare your scores from other nationals because God, there were so many great shooters. Like the other thing I really enjoyed about this match is I became friends with new guys that I'd never met before that I talked to online. And I became, in my opinion, better friends. I got to know people a little bit better that I had already met.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Like I really like Sean Griffith and Trace Decker. I really like those two guys, and I had a chance to really like sit down and talk to those guys during the match. When we weren't shooting,
right.
And I really like those guys. And it's funny because those are two guys that I feel like with myself are working our way up. Like that I hope are working our way up to that next level.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I always watch their scores. I watch my scores. I'm like, man, we're all so close to each other in hits and hit time and all. I mean, both those guys beat my ass this year. But man, it was like really like, wow, look at this. Like we're right there. Like day one, we were all there. Day two, I just got so far behind. And day three, it just, it's so hard to tell where I would have been.
Yeah, because those were not like you could say outliers. Like you don't.
I don't usually do that, but it didn't. I mean, it doesn't matter if you. It's just when you do it, it's like couldn't be at the worst freaking match of my life. So I guess the frustrating part was, and I tried to compare this to last year. I was 16th last year. I was 26th or 27th this year, and I keep going back and I'm going, man, was I worse this year? No. The talent was so much better.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that everybody last year sucked. It's just that this year everybody came. It was a lot.
There's a lot of people
56
that I didn't
GMs.
Know. Right.
That's a shit. I didn't even know there was 56 GMs in Carry Optics. That's insane.
I was surprised when you told me that's 56.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, you know what? And I talked about it in the first podcast. I think John Newhoff brought it up. There was a lot more masters. In
like
Carry Optics.
Or something.
Yeah. So like all the sandbagging son of a bitches were in the match too, right? Like the guys, and I think one of them made a joke and said those guys, the guys who can't, finish the job and get to Grandmaster. And I'm just like, I'd stay in Master. Like that's another thing about shooting open this year is I get to shoot as a Master. Woo! Yeah. So it's like, hopefully I'll get one of them participation trophies in the top 3, I don't know. But yeah, man, it's an interesting match. It's interesting to be here for this long.
Yes, first time that we have
be
to
sleeping in my non-bed, missing my kids, missing my wife.
Definitely.
Like talking to my son. He's like, "When are you coming home? I miss you." It's like
same with my son.
I'm like, "Buddy, this is work now." It doesn't seem like it, but it's just work for me sometimes. So like this is I'm trying to put this together to get the shooting academy rolling and trying to produce some national championships and just some good showings just to prove that the system, the system I have is also the system I use. It's not just me talking out of my ass and going, "Hey guys, let me show you how to move and shoot," and then not do it because I do everything I teach.
Yeah.
I do everything I teach.
The things that I learned from you, from the academy is the thing that really broke my game up. Where if it wasn't in the academy, I would not make it, this far.
Yeah.
Like everything, the shooting on the move, the way, although because we shoot together, I follow your plan almost 100% of the time. But even when, we didn't shoot, even other matches that you weren't there, I have that I always apply the concept of, where is the most efficient way to plan the stage, and it worked, man. It worked, and incorporating those things that you taught in my practice definitely, give me the, my confidence and my skills up, definitely.
Well, this is the first time that you've been on the podcast where it's just me and you, so nobody knows this. But how bad was it the first time I ever trained you? Do you remember that practice?
Oh yeah, I had
Karyoptics.
Yeah, I had bruised hands, like literally bruises on my hand. We said, like, it's only a day, but holy shit!
How many?
I didn't even know until the next
1,200
day.
rounds that day.
Yeah, about 1,000.
We worked that day.
We worked that day.
We worked that day,
and it was good because I started with because that's the thing. I just started when I approached you probably a month,
Yeah, you were in about a month, yeah. And you had just got the Karyoptics gun. What were you shooting before that?
Just Karyoptics.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Karyoptics,
Yeah.
Glock.
So you had got that, the Glock. Okay, and then you got the CZ.
I'm going to get CZ in a month, and then I'm going to train with you after that.
Yeah.
And before that, I was only shooting like 50 rounds and shoot straight, and then like just standing and
shooting
in the indoor range.
No grip at all. Yeah. No skill.
Flying around.
Yeah.
And then I know that if I want to be competitive, I need to start it right. Because once I develop a bad habit, then it's gonna be very hard to correct. So and then Raby, my friend, my brother from another mother, tell me
Ping
about
Ping.
Yeah.
He's the other half of Ping Ping.
Yes. And then you trained me about those fundamentals, and like I said, I bruised my hand that day. It's crazy.
I remember you sending me pictures like, dude, look at my hands. They're all brown, black and blue on the inside.
It was an awakening. Like, wow, this is really what competition should be.
Yeah.
I never thought about all those things that you taught me. Like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. And after that, it's a good thing with you is, even if one class and then we shoot together, not even with other people that's not in our team, you always teach them along the way if you meet them somewhere. It's not like you have a class and then tomorrow and when you see each other, like, I don't know you anymore. You just walk. No, I mean, you're always coaching, and even people that not even your class, you're coaching. So even today when you were on the stage, you were coaching people that you don't even know, which is I think it's
Well, they always have to ask first or talk about it. I don't just come up to them and start. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson a long time ago because some people just don't give a shit about getting better. They literally just do this for fun, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Or not doesn't like to be coached or taught or something.
But I remember I sat down one day with Ian McPherson, John Arenas, and Heather Arenas. We had lunch. And I remember trying to help somebody. And I think they were talking to John or Heather, or I'm sorry, Ian about some coaching stuff also. And Ian had given him some advice at another point. They would ask him a question and he would give them what they asked for. And then they would just ignore it. And he goes, well, whatever. I don't give a shit. I just won't coach him anymore. Right. So I didn't pay attention. I didn't know that, obviously. So I started to talk to somebody. I said, hey, man, just because I could see something that he was doing like that was really terrible. Like it was going to cost him a lot of time. And I remember him just looking at me like, who the hell are you? Which I'm nobody. Like, I'm nobody at all. I don't think I'm somebody. But I just remember that face.
Right.
And I remember like, screw you, man. Like, I'm pretty good. But if you don't want to listen to me, like, screw you. And I remember getting mad about it.
Right.
And then, like, not mad at him, but I was just like, well, what the hell? Why did I get that response? Like, I don't understand. I'm just trying to help the guy.
Right.
But I guess people think that if you come and coach them, you think you're better than somebody. I don't think that ever. I don't ever.
I mean, even if what kind of shooter you are, I would listen.
Yeah,
and you have to be open minded.
It's kind of like stage one.
Like,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely different level of shooters, but you listen to me. Yeah, you have to be open-minded. I mean, people, you might not know that they see something that, or not exactly, but you can apply that to your plan. And
I listen to D-class shooters, C-class. I don't care. There is always some other way to do something in this sport that could be more efficient. And sometimes I get stuck with the way I shoot things is the way I shoot things. And everybody does that. But if you can all work together to find a plan, or you can keep an open mind. I don't really want to work with a bunch of other people because most people don't think the way I think and stage planning. But if it's one position, one target array, one little thing that changes the way it shoots, it's like, oh man, this is the way. This is much more efficient. So now, would I have went back and seen it the second time? Maybe.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
but we locked it in the first time because we put two plans together. And, well,
Right,
really,
right.
not two plans. We just put one position and kind of blended it a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I mean, listen. I mean, if they're wrong, then you don't do it.
Yeah,
but you
that's
don't have
it.
to be
Yeah,
upset about it.
you don't have to look at the guy. Screw you, douchebag.
Right,
you know, you
right,
don't talk about. Yeah.
Listen, and then okay.
So I remember sitting down to lunch with them, and I got a very good, valuable lesson from that conversation. I remember Ian looking at me and goes, and John and Heather both looked at me and was like, they don't care.
Right.
They're never going to care. They don't want to get better. And if they do want to get better, they certainly don't want to be told how to get better. Right. They want to do it all on their own. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So I remember looking at them and I was like, you know what? That's a very valuable life lesson. So from this point on, I never go and talk to somebody unless they ask me. Right, and what I mean by that is I don't go coach.
Right, right.
Like I don't, if I see somebody doing something wrong, I just shut the hell up. I go and do my thing. But at Carry Optics Nationals, and I don't know if I talked about it or not, but at Carry Optics Nationals, I was talking to the guys on some stage plans, and man, there must have been 30 or 40 people on that stage. It was a lot. Like, I was really surprised how, and that was stage 17 with the double swingers.
Right.
Were you there? Were you there that day for that stage, or when we walked that together?
Second day.
You didn't come in that day. Okay.
No. But
so
yeah.
that day we walked that stage. I think it was the day you were. I
was driving.
You were driving in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was 30 or 40 people on that stage. It was insane. Like, it was just, everybody was packed in there. Some, a lot of, and when I say 30, 40 people, there's people even standing on the outside that are just kind of looking at it or whatever. And there was, people would funnel in and funnel out. So that's what, I don't mean like 40 people all packed onto one stage. You wouldn't be able to walk it. So we're all standing there talking, and I started talking to the guys. And I always have my headphones on. So like, I'll like pop an ear off or whatever. And I start talking to the guys, and all of a sudden, like, the stage got super quiet. Like, nobody was talking. No chatter was happening. It was just me giving a lesson, but I didn't like call anybody over.
Right.
It was just me talking to my buddies. Yeah. And all of a sudden the stage just went silent. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is really weird.
Right.
So I don't mind it, because it's kind of like I was coaching. I felt like I was coaching a class, like, honestly, because I'm really aware of like my surroundings, like what's going on, and I shoot, because with my personality, people, like, if I like mess with one of my buddies, somebody hears it and like, look at that, he's such a dick, and I'm like, he's my friend. You don't even know me. Like, we're screwing around, we're having a good time. Let it lighten up a little bit. Take life too serious. So I go over and I'm walking the stage, and we finish. And then a guy comes over and asks me, hey man, why would you run it this way? And I said, well, because of this one target area, this position. Right. And I said, not only that, and I said, so what would you do? And he goes, well, I would shoot here and here. And I said, all right, well, think about this. You just made that swinger 10 yards farther. It's already a hard ass position. Yep. Yes, you're saving 10 yards in running, but how long is it going to take you to shoot it?
Yeah.
This position over here, you're getting dead space. There's nothing to shoot at. If you run from here to here, you have a 40-yard run with no shooting. So that's dead space. So there was I basically could eliminate stage plans because of how much dead space there was.
Right.
And then obviously adding difficulty. So we run over, I show him my stage plan, and he goes, I like that. I'm going to do that. But I ended up having like 3 of his people that were friends with him were there coaching. And he was a great guy. I can't remember. I wish I could remember his name. He's from Georgia. Mm-hmm. Super nice guy. And he asked about, doing a class or like having me come and do some classes and stuff. I'd love to. At this point, I'm going to try to cram some more stuff in next year. Regardless of COVID, I'm not going to let that affect my class schedule anymore. I'm just going to start doing it. So I go in, finish talking to him, and I walked away, and the guys just started laughing. And I'm just like, I think we were in the car at that point on driving back down from Zone C, and the guys started laughing. I go, what the hell are you guys laughing? They were like, dude, that was a fucking class. Like, you literally just threw a class right there. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, dude, everybody just shut up and started watching you talk about that stage, because I went through my philosophy of why I would do it. Now, and what I mean by philosophy, I'm not sitting there like, all right, guys, well, this is how shooting works. I just talk to people like I want to be talked to, like a normal person.
Yeah, one of your biggest friend, dude, and I observe is, obviously you're a good shooter, but the way you look at stages.
Yeah.
it's you can see stuff that I would like something like, oh, I didn't see it. Like that makes sense, but like it's right in front of me. But that's the biggest thing, and I think that's also the most important.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, shooting is the slowest part of our game, but if you're efficient on the stage, even if you're kind of slower in the way you pull the trigger, that movement on the stage, the more efficient you move on the stage, that would win you the match.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, it just
the
allows
advantage.
me to shoot slower.
Right.
Right. So the coolest part about that stage at the end of it all was that one of the guys, Riley T. Bowman, one of the guys that I actually got to meet I met him at North Carolina. I talked to him online all the time, and I saw him here. He's such a great guy. Watched him shoot it, and he actually won that stage.
Oh, wow.
With the same exact stage plan that I
awesome.
had,
That's
baby. So I
awesome.
told him, I was like,
That's
so
awesome.
he beat me on, I didn't look at his score, but I mean, he won it high overall, which is phenomenal, first of all, because of all the talent.
Right.
But I started talking to him, and I was like, oh, man, it's just good to know that my stage plan was the right stage plan.
Right.
Because a lot of people didn't shoot that stage plan. I watched a lot of the pros. They did not shoot that stage plan. The main reason I shot that stage the way I did was because I could attack the back right. There was 3 targets I could move and shoot on.
Right.
If I went any other way, you could not attack stage.
No.
You couldn't attack the stage. So to me, I wanted to attack those 3 targets on the move.
On the move coming
What
in.
cost me on that stage, honestly, I had 2 things that went wrong. I had the swinger on the right. I took a makeup shot because I missed it on the. I had this weird, like, I don't know, like I was staring at the position where the swinger was supposed to go, and I didn't pull the trigger right away. Like it was kind of like,
Too late.
go
There it is.
now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would love to have had back, and this is where I feel like I lost most of my time, was I went steel activator instead of activator steel then swinger.
Because it takes a while before it drops.
I kind of pussed out because the day before I missed so much steel, and I was like, dude, I'm not going to take that chance where I feel like I have to rush. I waited.
Yeah,
and I waited. And I don't know. I didn't wait. Because I mean, the damn thing was 20 plus yards. So, but it was just like the first pass on the first swinger. I was like, pop, no problem. Alpha Charlie. The second one, I don't know whether I was in settle. I really can't remember. Like it just like kind of blurred into, that was one of those few positions. And I think that's probably part of the problem. It kind of blurred together on the rest of the stage and it shouldn't have. It should have been a unique, I remember this, but I remember hitting paper, steel activator and waiting in a position. And then I went, there it is. Pow.
Like,
shit.
Yeah.
I got 2 off, but the second shot was no way in hell. I guarantee it would have been a mic. And I had to let it come back, and then I shot it. And Alpha Charlie on both. On that one, I had an Alpha Charlie, but I had to wait for that second pass. There's my time.
Yeah.
I had 7 Charlies, no deltas on that stage. I had 2. One of the guys called it a snowman, which I've never heard that before, but where there was 2 bullets on the 35-yard target touching.
That's
at
awesome.
35 yards. Dude, I was like, that just like that to me was I was really proud of that because
it's 35 yards.
Well, dude, not just 35 yards, but the day before that, I was getting mics on shit that I was calling great hits on. And I called great hits on that whole stage. And they were all there, just like I thought. I mean, I did a lot better if I had makeup shots. If I needed them on paper, I just took them in case, like those farther targets, I felt like really good. Okay, I left it, didn't worry about it. So it was a different match for sure. Like it was a different match for me on day 3. Like, I mean, I came raging back and tried to take whatever pride I had left in that match. So, but I'm excited. So what do you feel about Open? You feel like we're ready to go?
Yes. Obviously we practiced twice. I'm ready. I think it's going to be, it takes one stage to get that ball rolling, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially I shot PCC with completely different trigger and different approach of, how you shoot. So, it's going to take one stage to warm up, so.
Well, this just before we get off here, cause we're getting close to being done here, but the best part that I really enjoyed, I shouldn't say the best part, but what I really, really enjoyed about the carry optics was that I shot from stage 1 to stage 18 We're on the same exact squad that I was. I'm on 201, just like I was in Carry Optics Nationals. We get to start on 1 and go all and finish on 18.
Yeah.
So
the flow of
it was awesome because now I'm going in a row. Boom, 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 boom. We start on chrono tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the only thing that does suck about that is your first stage, you're standing around watching.
Yeah.
Right? You're standing around watching. You're not shooting. You just have to kind of, you go to chrono, it's over in 10 minutes. It's nothing to it. So you got to stand there and watch these other guys shoot, which is not bad because who we're following. We're following the Super Squad, by the way. I looked.
Oh, really?
I've not limited Super Squad.
Open?
The open Super
Awesome.
Squad. So we're going to see the guys.
Follow them.
But again, it's very rare that I watch the Super Squad and say I'm going to change my stage plan.
Yeah.
Because we all kind of have similar stages. There's going to be some stage plans. There's going to be a little bit things here and there that might be different. But, you know, I've learned to stick to my plan because my plans work for me, especially. Right. So my plans work in general. I mean, you shoot them. A lot of guys shoot my stage plans and they just work.
Yeah.
But their plans work too, right? Like a lot of this is, some of this stuff is like
very minimal.
Yeah.
Very
like it's such, like you're like, well, that wouldn't make a big deal.
Most times if I have a plan and then in the last 5 minutes, or I'm a third to the next shooter, I see someone shooting like, holy shit, that's better. But I still stick with the plan because I already have that ingrained in my brain where to go. Is actually, even if that plan is efficient, it might be slower because I'm going to be thinking of where that split second, every target, every change of position, like where do I go next?
So that's something that doesn't bother me anymore.
No.
Like I can change my stage plan like that.
Yeah.
It really depends on what it is though. If it's a very complex,
big,
which most of the changes you're going to make aren't very complex. You're not changing, okay, I'm going to go right to left here, left to right and change the whole, you're not usually going to do that. Right.
Right.
So that's the thing I would say is the biggest thing is that I'm not changing huge things. So I'm not going to be like, all right, cool, I'm going to start up front and run back compared to starting in the back and running front, because that would change the stage plan completely.
The order of the array that you're shooting.
Yeah, some of those things are small things like, you know, oh, if I went right to left here though, it's the same. A lot of these stages are the same. If you go right to left, it's just which specific area do I go? Yeah. Can I attack this specific target sooner? Those are things that you're looking for when you're changing stage plans and watching other people shoot. So like a good example, stage 2 or 3 from this year's Nationals. That stage was the one with the double stack. It had the max trap on it. I think it was 3. For some reason, I keep thinking that's 3. Or was it 2?
Remember.
I think it's 2. Because 3 had the
is it 2 the one with the clamp?
Yeah, the clamp. Yeah,
that's 2.
Yeah,
that's my win stage.
2.
I can't forget that. That's
so
my
stage 2. Then it's stage 2. So that stage, I looked at it from right to left and didn't like it. But Max shot that thing in 17 seconds.
Going right to left, so he could attack the max trap. Well, interesting.
But 17 seconds. I was in 21 or 22 second stage.
Like, what?
That's a lot. Fucking crazy.
Right, that's a lot of time.
So it's like, okay, what did I not see there? Right. And I walked it from right to left, but there was a lot. So the one thing that's changed,
what made you think? What made it faster?
Dude, he just ran to that spot and he shot the max trap as he was going in. I don't know. I think the way that right side flowed, because you could attack the open target, the hard cover, then the open target as you run through, compared to trying to stop and get to a spot and shoot 4 targets, and then you could do that all in the move. But it was risky because that back target was far. Right. But not for a guy like him, not for a guy like me. Now, honestly, most of the guys at my level can shoot that shit on the move. Yeah. It's just they don't. I did notice the one thing I noticed at Nationals was a lot of those pro guys would run and stop and shoot shit.
Mention that to me. Yeah.
Going for points.
Right.
It's minor. See, I don't put that in my mind.
Right.
Because to me, I'm like, well, I'm going to shoot alphas anyway. What's it matter what I have in my hand? Right. It matters, because you shoot a Charlie and they stop and shoot an alpha, the time difference has got to be pretty damn significant. Well, those guys are fast.
Right.
It's not going to be a significant time difference.
Right.
You're not You're not at your local where I'm kicking guys' asses by 5 seconds on a stage that are GMs because they're not the same level GM, right? Or even beating by 2 seconds, but having 1 or 2 Charlies is going to kill me. It's going to kill me against those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a. Now that you mentioned it, I remember like being there. I'm a C, and I'm beating a lot of A's and B's, but come to the nationals, dude, I finished 69%, and I was close. I was almost beat. So yeah, definitely it's different when you're in your local matches versus you go into the nationals.
And there's nothing, that's not against the people that you shoot with, but it just shows you that unless you have some kind of local heat or competition, this is why I shoot against all open guys when I shoot carry optics at home.
Right. Because that's your competition.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the guys that shoot carry optics aren't at my level, right? Well, let me rephrase that. They don't shoot locals. Right. Like, we don't have a lot of guys that shoot locals that are at that level. The only guys that really shoot locals by me are all open guys.
Right.
That are at that level. The level that I'm trying to reach.
You can be really competing.
Right. Exactly. Now, again, it's minor versus major. So there's a lot of that in there too.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's,
that's
what I have to deal with. That's what I have to work with, right?
That's where you want to beat, or sometimes beat, you get beat. So that's where your competition,
right? So that's why I don't know. I don't want to say I'm officially throwing my hat in open for next year, but I definitely want to give it a run. I want to give it a run. I want to give it an honest run like I did this year for carry optics. So I will split next year carry optics and open together. Okay. But I don't know. I haven't decided because, I really do like my Da Vinci PCC. And I honestly haven't had much of a desire to shoot PCC though. Yeah, not because of the gun. The gun's amazing. That's the only thing that kind of brings me back is because I want to shoot that gun. Yeah. I wanted to do some experimenting with it this year and I didn't get to it because I was so focused on carry optics. But I'm not giving up carry optics. I feel like I have a
division too.
It's my division.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy the hell out of it. I like the strategy. I like the reloads. I like the gun. But, it's not major scoring factor. So we'll see.
Well, maybe they'll put some PCC major,
I doubt it. I honestly don't think they're ever going to change that.
Yeah, you think so?
I think they're going to try to keep open as king forever, right?
That's true.
One thing that'll change.
Once they change the PCC to major, they're going to get...
Well, people hate PCC now. They're going to hate him even more, right? I think you'd see a hell of a lot more PCC shooters, that's for sure. So I think what's going to happen with... the only thing that I think that would truly... The only thing that would ever eliminate open or make open a lot different, and like people probably wouldn't go to it as much as they want to, is if everybody started having major. Like if you started seeing major no matter what gun you shoot, major power factor. If they lowered major power factor for carry optics to 145 or 150 or something that the gun could handle. The gun could handle. You would see a lot more people just bump up their ammo and just shoot it because it's major.
Yeah.
And learn how to grip the son of a bitch.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like grip it and rip it kind of thing. Because a 145 power factor is very much so doable.
Yeah, doable.
155. I've shot 165 out of the Canic before, or 155 out of the Canic. It's a son of a bitch.
But 170.
No.
And the Legion.
Yeah.
You're gonna blow.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't see a whole lot about it, but. A guy at Nationals this year on Nestor's squad blew his Legion in half.
Like literally, he's holding just the grip.
Like a piece of the grip.
A piece of the grip because the grip was broken.
Yeah, it blew up. So like the top half of it is gone. Like I'm not talking about like, okay, cool, like the top barrel blew out or like the top end moved off. I'm talking gone, like disappeared.
The slide's gone. Imagine the slide's gone and part of the grip.
Just like half of the grip handle was in his hand.
Yeah, it's just where you're holding is the thing that's left. Like,
and the guy barely had any injuries.
No, he's got a cut on the arm, but
that's about it. Yeah, but that came from holding the gun, probably. The other part they said, which I didn't see, was he was pulling the trigger, still trying to pull the trigger when the gun went off like that. He still was going, "What the? Yeah, what is going on?" Yeah. So that's a testament to Siggs. Honestly, like that could have been a lot worse.
Right.
And but the first thing out of his mouth, what did he say?
What major?
38 super. 38 super.
Yeah.
I don't even know how he chambered it.
Yeah.
I don't know how he
how
chambered it, but he
came
said
in.
he makes them to the same length
As his 9 major
as the 9 major.
or 9
Or is the 9 millimeter? Yeah, it's
yeah.
carry optics 9 millimeter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought 38 Super was a little bit longer though.
That's what I thought.
So I don't know how that works. But he probably put that in a 9.
Right. He mixes. Oh, he mixed an ammo there.
Whatever he did, he did not do something good.
A major
Boom.
ammo there, and then
Yep.
just flew.
So he's lucky to be okay, and nobody else got hurt around him. But that's a big
Tells you
testament to.
that carrier optics cannot handle
Yeah.
major ammo.
Yeah, well, not at 175 power factor, that's for sure. But the Canik's designed for 165 power factor.
really?
It's designed for NATO ammo,
Oh wow.
but they don't chrono. Like so nobody chronos that. Nobody's taking their ammo to 175.
Right.
Right, they're at 155, 165, something like that around that area. So, but that's because it's made for that.
Yeah.
It's designed for that. But I'll tell you, I shot it with 155 power factor ammo
That's kick.
that I made a long time ago when I first started reloading. That somehow I think the powder that was in the package that I bought brand new wasn't the right powder because I was putting 3.5 grains
shit.
in. And somehow I was getting 155 power factor with only 3.5 grains or 3.2 grains, whatever it was, when I was making my PCC ammo. So it was not the right powder. I'm almost certain that they put in that package was wrong. But I mean, that thing, I remember breaking my Canik in with that, my new one, and it was like, holy shit, my hands hurt from holding this thing. I couldn't get the gun back down. It was a ride. It was a ride for sure. But all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Nestor, you got anything to say to the people?
All right, man. Well, we'll just good luck to all the people that are shooting tomorrow, and hope we do well for the fourth time, baby.
4-time national
Aiming
champion.
for number 4. We'll see.
Well, hopefully we'll see how that goes. We're gonna, again, no expectations. Just go out there and shoot your game, man. It's that simple.
Yep, yes it is. Execute the plan.
Yeah.
The plan.
Dry fire every night. That's what we did. We dry fired it this morning. Dry fired today. Went and checked out a motorcycle museum. Kind of took some of the pressure off.
Cool.
Didn't think anything about anything else. Just kind of relaxed.
Saw someone know how to fall off a bike.
Oh my God! Yeah, we did. The guy was falling off his motorcycle in the race today. We got to see a race when we were there checking out that museum, so that was kind of cool. Yeah. But all right, guys, if you have any questions, hit me up, and I'll see you on the range.